Nikola Tesla is alive! The N64 is my favorite console ever, and I love the N64. And every single time I say that, one of you funny fuckers ask, "Oh, where'd you meet?" Well, we met at a Trump rally. Arranged marriage. But in all seriousness, I love this console, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Out of all the controllers, the N64 controller gets bullied the most. Yeah, a lot of the complaints make sense. For example, the D-pad is useless. If you want to use all the buttons at once, you have to move your arm around. It looks like a sex toy. And the control stick is made out of chicken bones. To be fair, the chickens were free range. Although there's a lot to complain about this controller, there's a lot to like as well. For example, the controller melts around your arms just like the Wii U gamepad. And the Z button feels amazing to click. People who play the N64 will know what I mean. And keep in mind, most of the games that came out on the N64 were created with this controller in mind, which means most of these games feel amazing to play with the original N64 controller, especially Mario 64, which is way better to play with the original N64 controller. There's also some really cool limited edition controllers. A lot of these are awesome, and it's became like another thing to collect in the gaming world. I don't have any limited edition controllers. The closest thing I have to a limited edition controller is the red one that you saw earlier, but I love it. The N64 library is one of the most consistent Nintendo libraries out there. The library is small, but that's what makes it consistent on how good the games are. There are a couple of Superman 64s, but that does not take away from how good this library is. So many important games came out in this era. Conker's Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye, Mario 64. For some reason, Nintendo skipped out on some of the main franchises that they had. For example, Metroid. A Metroid game didn't appear on the N64 for some odd reason. Kirby didn't get a proper 3D game. He got more of like a 2D game, but it was 3D, it's hard to explain. And Pokemon. It was in the middle of Pokemon Mania when the N64 came out. Pokemon was huge. So Nintendo decided to profit on this by not actually putting out a mainline game and just making a bunch of spin-offs and slapping some stickers of Pokemon on an N64 and an N64 controller and calling it a day. Great profiting, Nintendo. You are so clever. When Nintendo released the N64, Sony had already released their PlayStation, and PlayStation used discs, because discs at the time could hold more data than a cartridge, and were way easy to develop games for. So what do you think Nintendo did in response? We're gonna just keep using cartridges. Fuck third-party developers and fuck our fans. We're going to make it more expensive to make games. We're just going to make it a bigger hassle in general. We're just going to make it so you can hardly put anything on. And we'll just make it so that third-party developers literally cannot do shit. Because of this, they lost many franchises in this era. Mega Man, Metal Gear, and Final Fantasy, just to name a few. Third-party developers didn't want to spend the extra money on cartridges, and they didn't want to have to sacrifice space just so they can make the game longer than 3 seconds. So a lot of third-party developers moved over to PlayStation. Another reason a fuck ton of third-party developers left is because Nintendo got rid of the end labels. Now I have to make my own shitty end labels that I can't even keep up with because I keep buying games. I have personal demons. There is an upside to the lack of third-party support. You see, ask 3 people who grew up with PlayStation. One will say, I grew up with Spyro. One will say, I grew up with Metal Gear. And Jared from Subway will say, like, fucking Digimon 3 or some shit. In contrast, pretty much every Nintendo gamer grew up with Mario Kart 64, Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, or one of those games. It's a smaller pool of games, meaning it's more memorable. Hey! You know what fucking time it is? It's time for Stan's New Games. You know what it is. You all love Stan's New Games. Anyway, I'm just gonna start this off. This is not the actual game, but I have a hacked Switch, and it only has like 64 gigs. So I went out and I bought a 128 gigabyte a micro SD card because I'm making a mod pack for Smash Bros, which is basically like changing the skins and shit. I don't even play Smash Bros anymore, but I want to make a mod pack with the boys. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Pokemon cards. I don't think many of you come here for Pokemon cards, but I love collecting Pokemon cards. But I'm just going to show you what I got in recently. I've opened 2 boxes, so like blister packs or whatever the fuck they're called, the Pokemon community. So yeah, here's what I got. I got this Poltergeist is shit. I got this Lucario. All the furries want to fuck this guy, understandably. He's a sexy dog. And a full art VMAX or Beetle. That is sick, but that's not the best part. Are you ready? The fucking Snorlax full art. That is awesome. That is awesome. I just want to fuck Lucario, dude. Man. Anyway, this was a short Stan's New Games. But if you want the mod pack when it comes out, it will be on my Twitter. I got a new Twitter. I asked somebody else to make me a new account. Go follow my Twitter. It's @fuckbonk. And also, join the Discord as well. Discord's dead because it sucks, but still, please join. Anyway, I'll see you next time.